Welcome back to Teacher Spotlight. I'm Allie. I'm here with
Mr. Bell.
Okay. What's thing you enjoy about teaching economics and government?
Probably a few things I enjoy the most about teaching that class is seniors. It's their last year, so you get to see them one more time, build some relationships with some students maybe you haven't before in the past. Usually the last couple of years I've had 10th grade, so it's starting to get to the point where I've had them as 10th graders and now they're coming back. But the material wise is just being able to apply a lot of stuff to the real world, to what you're going to do in life, and I think the students really enjoy that too.
What's something people should realize when studying for Regents?
They're hard, and you need to put some work in. So it's not, I find with more and more students, they don't know how to study anymore. And so I think that's sometimes because they don't know how, they don't want to. But Regents is to get good grades in those tests, you have to do your own homework as far as studying and preparing yourself for those tests, because it seems like they get, not that they get harder and harder every year, but just the way the state words things makes them kind of difficult. So if you know a lot of the background information on whatever subject it is, that's going to be half the battle right there.
What's your favorite project you had your eco class do?
So I do usually about 2 major projects a year. So I split the class with the EcoGov. Economics, usually we do a budget project. Students will get a education, so maybe high school education, college education, and that gives you a set income, and then you have to take that set income and apply it to renting a house or buying a house, renting a car or buying a car. So you have to kind of stay within your budget, which obviously teaches you down the road how to budget things. Government, the last couple of years we've done 28th Amendment. There's only 27 amendments in the United States Constitution, so they get to create the 28th Amendment. Whatever's kind of, they might enjoy learning about, they go out and do some research on it to put that in the Constitution, or they can amend any of the 27 amendments. So they got a little freeway, and so those are usually 2 projects. I kind of build it into their final grade, so those are usually fun projects to see, and it depends on the time. What's in the news. A couple years back we did a lot on gun control, so that's like a topic that students took to and did nice projects on it.
We went from merging with Portville and Hinsdale to Portville and Bolivar-Richburg. How do you think the dynamics of the team will change?
I don't think the dynamics will change as much as people might think. A lot of what we do in some sports outside of school, we already do, like travel baseball in the summertime. We already do some of that stuff with kids from Bolivar. We've been competing with Bolivar for years. If we get over, the fact that who it is, just like we did with Hinsdale, when the Hinsdale kids came on board, they had things to offer us. We have things to offer them as far as with the football program. So it would be the same with Bolivar. As far as they're gonna have some kids want to play, and offer us a good opportunity to keep the football program really going.
What do you do with your team to get them prepared for an important game?
We as a coaching staff really emphasize practicing the game. Everything we do all week long is kind of focused. We just don't want to do a drill to do a drill. We want to do a drill that focuses them on what they're going to see on Friday night. And then that kind of culminates with Thursday night's practice, as we call it, play the game. So we have a whole script for the hour and a half of that practice, where we go through all the different scenarios that we expect them to see, or we know that we possibly might see in a football game. It's kind of like class, right? Like when you review for a test, as a teacher, we want to try to give you everything you might see before that Regents or a test, and even the questions. We do that with football, so that when we get on Friday night, hopefully it's not something that they haven't seen before. They're they're prepared and they're ready.
If you could add one thing to teach your team, what would it be?
I'm always trying to, for me, try life lessons. I think that's the great thing about extracurriculars and sports. There's lots to be learned about life in general, and stuff that you can apply back into the classroom. But there's always a life lesson to be learned, I think, and sometimes you get kind of in the mix of going to practice. Now that we're traveling to and from practices, sometimes that stuff gets lost. But I think that's the big thing, is always think about, what you're learning here in the situation of practice or a game will apply to your life somewhere down the road. And sometimes that's why, when you ask athletes 5-10 years down the road, those are the things that it goes back to. Oh, I remember when we talked about this, how it would come up in my life. I never thought it would at the time, but 5 years later, this is what happened, and I thought back to that time at football practice or a game or basketball practice when you talked about that one lesson. So those are the things that it's more of an emphasis piece to keep teaching. Using sports, athletics is kind of the avenue to do that.
All right, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.